Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Gunjur Online TV viewers, welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with myself. And I apologize today, my main guest, which is Suleiman Ben Suare, will not be here because he is brief. And I will want to take this opportunity to extend my sincere condolence to Ben and the rest of the family. I think you guys must have read on the social media a Gambian lady who was killed in her own house in the US, happened to be related to Ben's wife. So that's why Ben is not here. So for 30 minutes, I will try to fill the big boots of Ben. I'm not sure how I'm going to fare, but I try to review a couple of events that are significant as far as Gambia is concerned. But as usual, I will give you update about COVID-19, how the situation is across the world and across Africa. As you all know, COVID announced its arrival in December 2019. The virus originated in Wuhan provinces in China. And since its emergence on the world scene, 26,351,721 people got infected with COVID. It's rather unfortunate still. I just watched a video that was sent to one WhatsApp group. The conspiracy theories are still going on. Bringing in, one unfounded story upon another, trying to divert people's attention from this deadly virus. There is nothing more disingenuous than that, because people who are engaged in spreading those kind of rumors, misinformation, are killing people, because you are giving people false sense of security, which could be very detrimental. So far 817,219 people died and 18,560,312 recovered from COVID-19. So COVID is not necessarily a death sentence. That's why I will encourage anybody anywhere in the world to go and test for COVID and know your status, because you still have 80% chance of surviving COVID if you have it, more than 80% actually. Currently there's 6,921,190 people are currently infected with COVID, and out of that, 6,860,478. That's the 99% of the actively infected population are in mild condition, and that includes the asymptomatic one. These are COVID patients who are showing no signs of symptoms, but by testing them, like the necessary protocol of handling COVID, according to WHO, is about test, trace, isolate, and treat. Unfortunately, Gambia is only managing the symptoms now. They are not doing enough tests. They are not tracing the contacts of the positive cases. They are not isolating them. In fact, they are asking these people to go back into the community and self-isolate, and self-isolate. So this is not on, and is only going to make us move in a circle. I can't see Gambia coming out of this anytime soon. We don't have the facilities, and we are not doing the right things. So at least if you don't have the facilities and you try to do the right things, that help. But you don't have the facilities, you are doing the wrong thing. That's only going to compound our problems, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the situation, unfortunately, on the ground. Currently, Sorry, let me. Currently, 60,712 are critically ill with COVID. These are the COVID patients that need hospitalization and most of this time intensive care units. So the numbers for the numbers for countries that are very close to Gambia. I'm going to read out to you. Unfortunately, yesterday I didn't do the program, so I cannot give you the 24 hours record for all these countries, except Senegal and Gambia. Ivory Coast so far recorded 18,000, sorry, excuse me, 18,161 cases. Senegal so far 13,189. Past 24 hours they recorded 83. Senegal definitely now is on top of the game. They flatten the curve and they are, coming down, which takes a longer time than going up. Guinea Conakry so far recorded 9,479 and Mauritania 7,089, and Gambia now is fourth. From last just about a couple of months ago. Gambia now recorded 3,101 cases and 34 new cases past 24 hours. Mali so far recorded 2,802. The records for past 24 hours are not yet in. Guinea-Bissau so far recorded 2,205 cases, and numbers for past 24 hours again are not in. Sierra Leone so far recorded 2,029 cases, and numbers for past 24 hours again are not yet in. Burkina Faso so far recorded 1,370 new cases, and Liberia 1,305. So today this program is Straight Talk with Ben, where we review a major talking points of the past week. Today I will discuss a continuation of these girls that are stuck in Lebanon, and Lovett Jallo and her team are doing a very fantastic job, but unfortunately the government probably they feel they are disrespected, or they feel that well, they were put on the spot, and I don't think they like it. They try to fight it through the media of their own, but I can tell you, they are fighting a losing battle. That's the nice thing about this social media platform, because it empowers the common man. The government can go and spin, but the truth will finally come out, and that's what is, in fact, I think social media is what is going to regulate African democracy, not only in the Gambia, because there is no hiding place. You try to spin the facts, people will come with the real facts. Why, still our women are going into this Arab world when, most of the time they really, really suffer there, because what happened once they are smuggled, some of them is not actually their fault. You will be advertising, you will be sell a job, like a proper job, but when you go, you find yourself in a human selling centers where people will come and buy them and take them. And to these Arab people, once they pay their money to you, you are only a commodity. They don't care if you sick or ill. They will try to squeeze every ounce of your energy to make sure you serve them. So this is a big challenge. I've been here for 8 years in the Middle East, and personally I've been involved in few cases that I have to personally get involved to make sure these ladies regain their freedom and travel back home. And what really happened, like, for example, the case of Jan, she's a pharmacy assistant, and she was advertised a kind of job on the whole. She went and find herself being sold. And once they are there, they don't give you time to rest. The Arab, they hardly sleep at night. So they will be eating the whole night. Once they finish, you have to be continue to work. And once they finish, you are left to continue. And this is even worse during the Ramadans, because they will eat the whole night, go to the restaurant, watch their movies, and the whole day they will sleep. So effectively, if you work under those kind of conditions in Ramadan, you hardly have a sleep, continuous sleep of 2-3 hours. You can't. And they're horrible people, some of them. once they believe you're supposed to be working and you are sleeping, some will just go and throw ice cold water on you. I've seen incidents where they throw a hot boiling oil on these African domestic workers. So, for example, what happened in most of these Arab worlds, once you are hired, you call what they call the kafil system, the sponsorship system. Like even the government department, like my hospital, they are my sponsor. They have the final say, on me if I need to go out and come in and whatever, So even the central government didn't do anything, but these are government structures. But if you go into private homes as well, that's the same thing. Once you arrive, they take your passport and keep it away. So even if you run away, you cannot travel out of the country. And if you run away, there also national laws are such a way that they always side with the locals. That means you breach a contract. That breach of contract can land these girls in prisons. And once you go to those prisons, that's where all hell broke loose, because you have these uncultured security personnel who actually force themselves on these women, in normal occasions, and maltreat them, and also even torture. So why people still go? That's the question. As I said, some of them are tricked into the boat. Some of them, because of the economic hardship, they don't want to listen. They just want to go out and try their luck, no matter what. So this is a difficult situation. On the whole, I think Africans, we are letting ourselves down. And this cannot continue for any longer. The whole world is progressing, is moving in the right direction. It is only Africa that's, you watch. Even these past few days, you walk in the Mediterranean, is African, overcrowded boat upon boat being safe, in the high seas. So it's not a case of the message is not out there. The message is out there. But now, why people start moving, that's what our government should try and sort out. And for the case of Gambia, and I can't see that being sorted out anytime soon, because you have to look at the quality of people who are trying to get into that government office. Beside, I can say maybe Citizen Alliance, the new arrivals, and also maybe PDOIs, which are trying to work on principles. They have a well-defined um, portfolios. They have well-defined constitutions that, they have well-defined ideas on paper that this is how we want to run the country, and also they are doing something to educate, the general public. But you look at this government, instead of investing on educating citizens, about their civic rights, they went and buy these rights and politicize it. That means you are inducing people to vote for you. And this have been the case since Sadauda Kairaba Jawara. Who wouldn't forget? If you are in my age group or little bit below, Jawara Manindingo, you remember it around this time of the year. It does really good, what I mean? But, that's inducement. People in fact who are renowned, their faces are known with other political parties, even though they will have this right, but they've been psychologically bullied and tormented, from the PPP supporters. These have been going on. This is how Jawara, managed to stay on power, because of these, small luggage. Once in a while, he would throw it to the populace, the rice, the oil, during the what they call the hungry season from August to around October, before the new harvest arrive. And also, the farmers, they don't have any other form of earnings. They depend on what they grow. So as the year draws, these foods and other and cars start running out. So at the middle of the rain during this time, that's when most farmers are seriously challenged. Their livelihood, is tested. So politicians capitalize on this and start throwing them rice to board to buy their favor, to buy their favor. So that was Jawara. Yahya Jammeh came and industrialized it. He took it another level. We've seen even in Gunjur, when he was building that mosque, truck upon truck, tons of rice he will be bringing there, giving it as a charity. And we've seen during Ramadan also he'll bind, stacks of sugar, distributing them. These are all, so he can get political favor. So we expect, we've seen that it took us and nowhere. So you expect when we have a new government, these are the kind of things they will stay away. Instead of giving people rights, give them the assurance that this is how we want to govern this country. These are the plans we have for you, and you support the things they're doing. You invest in agriculture, give them subsidies in fertilizer, make them available at the right time. If you do that, you don't have to go after them and give maybe most of these rice are either grants or they are from loans from other countries. You don't have to do that. And also invest on political education, civic education. People need to know their rights. People need to know the importance of voting, but by inducing them with rights and other favors, you are actually rigging the election. So election rigging doesn't happen on the election day itself. That's just the final bit. But it starts the day the president is sworn in. They start cutting there and adding there, dismissing this and bringing this. So, this is a situation which need to change. So why I said I'm not very hopeful is because, one of the biggest political parties, the so-called biggest political party in the Gambia is UDP. And we've seen past for a couple of days, they are also copying what the central government is doing. They also have their rights, going right, try to, buy favor, from the electorate. I think that is very disheartening, to be honest with you. Yeah, you can say, if rights wouldn't need right now, Gambians need rights, but it's never be politicized. Do it at the cover of the darkness, or you don't have to call the media to do it if you are not asking, if you are not looking for political favors. So if Barrow is doing it, we all criticize, including the opposition, that this is a national issue. We have a pandemic, people are suffering. You shouldn't be politicizing it. But then the next best possible option, you see them copying the same thing. So what do you expect those people to do if they take power? That's why I say I'm not very hopeful for the future, for the near future. And I challenge the academics, of this country, people, who have the country at large, to step forward. Next election should be more than just party politics. Partisan politics is what damage that country. People will go, extra length just by mentioning the name of their political party leader. They will go into rage, frothing in their mouths, throwing insult and profanities all over the place. That is damn stupid. The day anybody do that, that's the day you relegate yourself to subhuman status. What happened to your brain? Why would you insult somebody by just mentioning somebody you actually invested on them emotionally? It's stupid. So that's why I said the way things are, unless Gambians, well-meaning Gambians, step forward and break this cycle of this kind of politics we have in the Gambia since independence, we are not moving anywhere. And we suffered enough. We suffered enough. That have to stop. People are moving, including our near neighbors. I have been going in and out of Guinea-Bissau, because Guinea-Bissau used to be Gambia's reference point when it comes to underdevelopment. But I can tell you, these people pass us. They are going heads and bounds. The problem they have was stability, and I believe with this Mbalo, the new kid, is going to sort that thing out. The problem with Guinea-Bissau was about these entitled war veterans who refuse to let power go because they feel that they liberated that country and they said to have the bigger share of the pie. But they are reducing. Their numbers are reducing, and they even not their numbers, but they are becoming weaker and weaker. They cannot influence things anymore. So that's why last week I keep mentioning about the youth stepping forward and take responsibility, and relegate these grannies, to the back bench. That's where they belong to. Because the suffering, what we are now, what we are going through, they are part of the system that brought us this hardship. So my youths, I'm not a youth, I'm an older youth now. But this is about your time. It's about your present and future that is at stake. Why would you entrust an old man, 70 plus year old, with your future, who will not be around any time longer? In fact, by the time their mistake, the impact of their mistake, come into play, they are nowhere to be. They are gone. They are long gone, and we can hold them to account. You have seen the situation in Mali. This 4G-old man refused. He took the entire country, whole entire country to ransom, and give this the military to step in and maintain order. But who knows how long that order will last? Because these are soldiers. If you are Gambian, you know what the soldiers are capable of doing. ECOWAS intervened. They managed. Their initial plan was 3 years interim. 3 years interim, but at least it's 1 year now. So let's see how that will pan out at the end of the 1 year. Will they be the same path in civilian clothes trying to run for that country? The situation in Ivory Coast, look at that. These guys, no, even the mere vegetation you see of this country, they are rich. They are filthy rich. Guinea Conakry, but go and see the fracture. This old man, for some reason, 1 minute he says he's not running for that time, next minute he's running. And there is going to be bloodshed. Because of that, his former antagonist, Roland Gbagbo, now is also throwing his name in the ring. Could you imagine that Roland Gbagbo again, whose irresponsibility killed over 3,000 of those country citizens, wanted to run for president again because of the irresponsibility of Ouattara. Conde is 42 years old. Okay, and Sumana, I believe the system isn't ready to accommodate the talent that exists in youth flux. Okay, and Sumana, I beg to disagree. There is never going to be a better time to change the status quo. Youth, they just have to have confidence in themselves. They have to have the confidence, the dynamics, how this world works, to be honest, is beyond the grasp of this world. No disrespect. My dad is still alive. He's an old man. But, the way this world works now is beyond their grasp. It's beyond their grasp. They cannot understand it. The world is moving 1,000 miles per hour. Even Adam Barrow's generation, the guy, he haven't got a clue. He don't even know what's going around, and things are moving so hard. And that's why they are being dictated to, or they are being conditioned by the social media, because this is where they take their cue from. And this is where also the opposition is letting everybody down in the Gambia. Because if the opposition is strong, definitely that man will toe a straight line. He would be better than this. But Adam Barrow can afford to sleep in public spaces collecting that fat salary, without fearing for nothing, because the opposition are not being the opposition they're supposed to be. They are not holding him to account the way they should. And also our parliament is probably one of the most disappointment, after Adam Barrow, our parliament. Right now, that country, you don't even know who is running it. Sankare probably is running that country, because all the praises you see in writing is his signature. The president is nowhere to be seen. The parliament is in recess. The opposition cannot even come together and work as a unit. If you don't want to work with the government, we are not election time. Why not the opposition come together and form that alternative leadership to the president? Then the president will see a threat, and he will up his game. But Barrow is doing blunder upon blunder, but nobody is holding it to account except the social media. This is the sad part of Gambia. And if we are not careful, we have to put up with this man for another extra year. And if we are not careful, the constitution will give him another 5 years plus this one, making it 10. That will not be counted in his mandate because already 6 months we are behind our election schedule. Almost 6 months we are behind our election schedule. How are we going to cram all this? Because this virus is not going anytime soon. But there is no mechanism in place that can make sure we work alongside. While the virus is there, it shouldn't stop anything. But everything about that constitution is already on standby. I can agree more with you. Barrow administration is a complete failure, but you have to also mention other factors that are responsible because we have the parliament to keep this to put the executive in check. We have the opposition to provide alternative leadership, but all these are missing. So that's why the incompetency of Barrow is more highlighted. Barrow admitted to Gambians many times when he come initially, when the journalists asked him, how are you going to run this country? You never even hold a government position. He was being very honest. You tell them, I cannot have this formidable team behind me and fail. And that was the fact. But once the coalition disintegrated and this guy ended up with the vultures we were fighting against, he was just in remote control. Those people don't care about the country. That's why they were in the opposition. They were in our antagonists. Now we have to pay homage to our antagonists. That's the sad part of the previous struggle. And if we are not careful, there might not be no election. In 2021, take my word for it, because these people are broke. All the money, all the billions you have, they distributed among themselves. They're not even building those, they're not even investing those monies in our country. That's the sad part of the current corruption. But they're going to Senegal to invest it there. Could you imagine that? So by the time the election comes, there will be no money. And also, when are we going to have this referendum? The parliament should be sitting now, make sure pushing those things to make sure that that constitution we invested, I think it's about 1,160 million, Gambian dollars, so that it come into effect before next election. If not, two things are going to happen. Either there will be no election, or we are going to go to election with Yahya Jammeh's constitution. This is the constitution that tormented us, that make us slaves in our own land. 2007 constitution, 1997 constitution, going into another election for that. That will be the biggest blow, for anybody who actually participated in the struggle. Who participated in the struggle? So we are in, I don't know how to describe it, but we are in a real dilemma. The pandemic is here. They don't even, well, they even stop, I think, controlling it, because for us to be able to control this pandemic, we should be able to follow WHO guidelines. That is test, trace, isolate, and treat. Gambia are not doing enough tests. Could you imagine? Sometimes 190 something, even less than 2,000. 200. That is between MRC and the public health lab. We are not doing enough tests. The tests we are doing, our positivity rate is one of the highest in the world. That means we are only testing the sick people, those who sought medical help. They are the only one that have been tested. That's why the positivity rate is very high. So now when they test them, instead of isolating them and quarantine them and giving them the management before they are COVID negative, they are now sending them back to the community and tell them to go and self-isolate. Man, who can self-isolate in Gunjur, or Berending or Sukuta? It's almost impossible because of our family units. Self-isolate, that you are telling them to go and infect their relatives. Most of them don't have their private transport. When they come into those testing centers, they use the public transport. Going back again, they use the public transport. How many they will be transporting, infecting in transit? Much more, 2 weeks while they are in their houses. So we are going in a circle. We are doing nothing about COVID. We are just wasting the resources. Now you are asking the sick people who are confirmed to be sick. But this is the same government who use their friends and their cronies in the hotel industry. Once the tourism sector failed, they see that as another opportunity to receive some kickbacks while keep their friends and cronies business alive. They were quarantined, healthy people traveling from Europe into hotels. We have seen millions of Gambian dollars that are spent into those quarantine centers in the hotels. But now the money ran out. Now you are telling the sick people to go back to their families and self-isolate. And let's be honest, we are Gambian. We are not that disciplined enough. You tell Gambian to go and self-isolate. Next thing he will be drinking hata in a voo. Next minute he will be in the neighbor's marriage ceremony or christening ceremony. Next minute he will be in the mosque. These are COVID positive. So this is a sad situation, which I don't know when we're going to come out of, and what is going to happen also in our economy. By the time the rest of the world are opening their economy, which they are gradually, Gambia will still be grappling with this COVID. And now that tourism minister, I don't know if that guy have any brain in his head. I don't know. That he is going to open the tourism sector this October. No problem. You can open. But I can tell you, is Africans who didn't value each other. We don't value, our government didn't value us. They don't respect us. Our electoral officials don't care. Once you voted, then they don't care. But the Europeans, they care about their people, because if you don't care, they know they have the power. They are going to remove you. So if you open your tourism sector and you are not being transparent about COVID, they're going to put in place travel advices. Nobody is going to come. And Gambians who are struggling for rice, you don't expect them to go to Gambian hotels or to to go and visit the Abuko Nature Reserve and all this. It's not going to happen. So you can say, yeah, it's good, and and then I'll open the tourism sector. But who is going to come to your hotels? Gambia now, in most part of Western Europe, they describe Gambia as high risk area, including the Americas. So who is going to come to the Gambia? And also from the Western, and before they travel, they need to obtain an insurance, because the risks are so high in the Gambia that no responsible insurance company is going to insure somebody to come and visit Gambia. If they got COVID, they will destroy your business. So I'm trying to be like Ben today, but Ben, there is no way I can fill the boot of Ben, but I did my little bit. It's not my area. But I just want to tell you, thank you very much for your viewing. I will go through your comments, starting with Ansumana, then I will close this till next week, inshallah. Tomorrow we have another new program, which is premiering tomorrow at the same time, 7 o'clock. Ansumana, I believe the system. Okay, I read that one. Time for youth falls to be given responsibility, key decision-making progress, and policy formation. Well, I think youth, you are underestimating them, and I can see that even in Gambia, they lack the confidence. Look at this Swedish kid. He's only 13, for God's sake. This Thunberg kid. That guy is providing leadership at world stage. Gambians can do. I've seen Gambians in that social media circle within my timeline, who, if you ask them, they will do far better job than Adam Barrow, Yajam, and Jawara put together. A far better job. A far better job. The world is the way world works and how it works 10 years ago is completely different. You need a pragmatic young man to come and drag us from this. Believe me. The oldest, their heart might be in good place, but the kind of experience you are talking about is not there. And these people are so indebted. I'm not saying financial, but they are so indebted to so many people. When they come into power, those are the people they will try to compensate. And also they are run by so many people. They will want to be vindictive and start fighting. Again, Gambia cannot afford that. We need continuity in that government. You come and put systems in place that will hold everybody to account. That means it will not be necessary for personal vindictiveness. We have systems that can take care of the corrupt officials. For example, look at the case of this James Gomez. In a proper working system, that man should, maybe 3 weeks ago, he should have resigned. But he will never do it. And you expect the executive to do the right thing and sack that guy, because it's a liability to himself, to the country, and to the executive as well. But he's still there. In fact, it's just so sad. So I'm not sure if all these, they even understand the impact of corruption in our country. Why we see African kids die in Hansis on daily basis. This week, almost every day, ship load, full load of Gambian, African youths. That's been like you had a child and take them to the altar and slaughter them for the jalans. That's what African leaders are doing to their kids. So why not now we take responsibility of our own actions rather than entrusting into people who will not be around when the mistakes they are making come to bite us? Who are we going to hold accountable to? This is my point. And also the executive are in respecting the parliament. Look at the case of Honorable Salah. Salah summons the VP. That's what Ansumana still I put that responsibility back to the parliament. These people also be having equal powers with the executive if they put their house together. If they take politics, this is another problem. This is where I start the discussion. Partisan politics is what is destroying that country. We're supposed to have time for partisan politics when it's election time. But you cannot come from one election day when you start partisan politics. Everybody is looking at their party's interests. People, egos, they don't, know how to handle their egos. If that parliament, they right now what they are looking is a national interest, definitely they will hold that government into account, that executive account. But they are divided on party lines. They can hardly agree on anything. This is the problem. So that division, even Adam Barrow, with all what people think his stupid is, he know how to fuel that division, because that's what favor him. Look at what he did to his own party parliament. When he gave them those trucks, he knows these poor people are broke. Their salaries are meager. They cannot afford this. He give it to them. Next minute, he start giving them petrol money, because they cannot resist it. They have it. And this is how he divide his own party. Then now he give them land. All of them went for it, except the PDOI's ones. So now these parliamentarians are turned upside down. They are confused, because those lands, they will want to build structures on those lands. But where are you going to get the money? So they are now called, hang on, these are executive, let us not offend him too much, so that when maybe, when it's time to election, we wait our chances. Who do we have the best chance of getting back into the parliament so that we can build structures on those free lands the government gives to us? This is where most politicians are not taking, and the UDP guy are not taking like that. But you can lose all your parliamentarians to this guy, because these people prove beyond reasonable that they don't believe in anything except themselves. For example, our own MP, who happened to be my uncle, he is the majority leader because of the number of votes he pulled. And people of Kombosat voted for him massively because of the promises he made, that he's going to take care of the environmental challenges we are facing. the overexploitation of our natural resources. But as soon as the guy went in, he turned up against the people who actually pay for his campaign. That's us, environmentalists. He called us saboteurs or saboteurs of this government. So these are the people you have. They have this land. Next thing they are thinking now, how do we build? How do we develop these empty plots? They are weighing their chances. Which party or which, yeah, is it NPP or PDO give them the best chance so they can be in the next parliament? That's why they cannot hold this government to account effectively, because of their selfish interests and pure corruptions. And you will be shocked also if these people made public the amount of money this useless parliamentarian collects per diem. Because I remember watching one sitting, it's all about per diem. They were rationing it. Well, you went last time, no, let's see these people who are not yet benefited. You know, that's the per diem, traveling opportunities. So this is the dilemma we have. We have a parliament who are divided politically, they are insincere, they are all corrupt to the core, and they are hungry. So if we put Adam Barrow, he's useless. You cannot, somebody, a president, any public guard, you are sleeping. That guy doesn't deserve to be a leader of a compound, much more a country. But if we have a strong, well-balanced parliament, they can hold that to account. And also, if we have a well-coordinated opposition who are talking to order, they are engaging order, they can provide that alternative leadership. Because these African press, the only thing they respect is organized, determined people. So once our oppositions are organized, this government definitely they have to up their game, because they know that you are not, my opponents, if I don't up my game, next election I'm going to lose it. Well, if you look at them, they are in such a disarray, they cannot even bring themselves to talk to each other, especially in the middle of this pandemic. COVID, how serious? COVID itself cannot unite these oppositions. That's not good for the country. That's not good for the country. At least partisan politics, we've seen it, in the West. They will say anything to each other. But once it's time to work, once there is a common enemy, once there is a national interest, they all come together. Yeah. So Ahmed Manjang said, thanks for highlighting the sad situation in the Gambia. 2021 election is under threat, serious threat. And it's not only that, because we are far behind schedule. And if it's happened, we might go to 2021 election or 2022 election with the 1997 constitutions. So if that happened, that means these 5 years will not be counted as a term for President Barrow. Next 5 years will not be counted as President Barrow. So the 15 year will, if the constitution goes through, could you imagine that? 10 years with Adam Barrow at the helm? I would rather we sign off to Senegal, and share the money. It's better. But it could happen. The possibility is there. Coronavirus containment from Ansumana Dawa in the Gambia is very sad. The testing is crucial, but without MRC, we are yet to zero the curve. What happened with MRC also is no secret, because MRC, they have lot of challenges with the number of infections among their staffs. And what people also don't understand, how MRC is a research institute. And it's not Gambian, it's a British institute. And also, even within MRC, most of those projects are contract-based. So you don't expect somebody, the project, the proposal they wrote, they earned the funding already, and divert that to COVID. It's not going to happen. MRC can only do that much. And also, you can see how corruption destroys countries. When MRC were in charge of this testing and everything was moving fine. But they train these government officials and they take responsibility. This is where all the chaos comes. They end up infecting all themselves, and MRC also got in the act. So we don't even have the capacity. That's the problem now. We don't have enough people to do the test that can make us help flatten this curve. But I can tell you, we are right behind the curve, because you look at the pattern. Like day before, the positivity rate was about 21. Yesterday it was 32 again. Today is 20. So it's going like this. It's not going straight. Today up, tomorrow up. Depending on the number of tests they do. Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it. Please share the video. Hope to see you again on Monday, inshallah, for our Salaji turning point for the people of Congo. I don't decide yet on the topic we'll be discussing, but I know land issue is going to be at the center of it, as far as the people of Congo is concerned. And Sumana Ablai, thank you all very much for engaging me. Sumana, I think one day I'll bring you here, to have a real conversation with you. You can rule that country, and Sumana, I have no doubt about that. Because I know you will listen. You should be able to read policy documents and understand, and understand. And you know that at least if you mess up, it's you mess up yourself, because best part of your life is still ahead of you. This is my thing. And 20 years down the line, we can go after you, in Kiang, and say, Sumana, you messed these things up. But you put an 80-year-old, 10 years down the line, he's gone. How can you hold them to account? And they transfer all their wealth to their grandchildren and their children. So this is the problem we have in Africa. And if they are emboldened or entitled, even in the opposition, once they get in, they don't want to come out, because the contest, that's how they see it. They see it as a family business now. The Wataras, if we go now, what is going to happen to my nephews, my kids, who are MDs, who are, running the business of the entire country? What is going to? So they stay there just to protect the business interests and the future of their kids and their grandchildren. That's too risky. That's why youths need to step forward. I believe, no doubt, Gambia is awash with that. And another thing I have to admit, which I mean the Gambia intellectuals, we should stop being selfish. Once we are educated and we have our plum jobs, we decided, what, I don't know, it's not worth it. I don't want to get involved. This is where the problem is. This is what give the chance, the opportunity to the likes of the Dusan or the Siaka Jatas. These uneducated fools who don't, in real time, when everything is equal, probably there will be shoveling trucks in the Gunjuru mine inside. But once the educated, the people with the know-how stand aside, because they don't want to get their hands dirty. This is the problem we have. The Gambia intellectuals need to step forward, and be that guiding force to make sure this cycle of political psychophancy and pageantry and all this nonsense stop. Thank you. Allah Baraka. So I hope I did my impersonation of Ben a little bit better. Thank you.
Salia nao salia ekora jalo be kumala nani fao salia jonjo mbato be kumala nani fao salia salia nao salia ekora jalo be kumala nani fao salia jonjo mbato be kumala nani fao salia salia nao salia ekora jalo be kumala nani fao salia junjum bato be kumala nani fao salia way down the sane kulobute tebendonna ninki nanko binobala bari binobala timosola yao ye yao way dawda sane kulobute tebendona ninki nanko binobala bari binobala
Godili go salamane, nandele nakano